Hi guys, you're welcome back to my channel. Okay, so if you're just seeing my video, you're welcome. My name is Stella. All right, so let's jump right into it. Today we're going to be making this maxi dress. Okay, it's an off-shoulder maxi dress with straps and cape. Okay, so I'll be working with a basic bodice block, a half scale block. Okay, so now I have a video on my channel very detailed on how to draft a half scale basic bodice block. I'll leave the link in the description box in case if you don't know how to do that. It's very detailed and straightforward. Okay, so I've drafted that, and that's what we're going to be altering to make this beautiful dress. Okay, now let's proceed. So the very first thing you need to do is to get the midpoint of your shoulder. And how do you do that? You simply place your tape on the tip of the shoulder, okay, and you extend it to the neckline width. Then just simply fold your tape into two, like I'm doing, okay, and you make a mark at that midpoint. So it's as simple as that. Or you can go ahead and measure what you have there and divide into two, but this is the easiest way. So I'll come in with my straight line, okay, and I'll connect that to the bust point like so. And that's it. We've marked our mid shoulder, okay. So let's proceed um into the alteration. Now we're repeating the same thing on the back shoulder as well. Okay, so you place your tape on the neckline width to the shoulder tip like I'm doing, fold into two just like we did in the front, and then you make a mark at that point. Okay, then from there with your ruler, okay, you connect to the 1 inch that we came down with on the chest line. Okay, you need to watch that video for the basic bodice block if you don't know how to do that. Okay, so now we've connected our mid shoulder points for the front and the back. Let's jump right into the front, okay, because that's where we'll be doing most of the work. Now, the next thing you need to measure is your cleave line, okay? Just like a picture you're seeing on your screen. The cleave line is just the extent of the revealing that you want, okay? So you place your tape on your neck bone and you measure downwards to wherever you feel comfortable, okay? But for my clients, I'll be making use of 4 inches because I don't want her cleavage to be exposed at all. So from the 3x3 neckline that we have there, okay, I'll just place my tape and I'll measure my 4 inches downwards like so. Okay. Um, so that's the cleave line that I want. Okay, remember I said that is 4 inches. Now I'll extend my tape back to the starting point, okay, to that 4 inches I marked, and that's 7 inches. Now I'll need to mark these 7 inches across this block. That's both on the front block and on the back block as well. Okay, because I need to connect a straight line that will run across. Okay, then I'll come in with my ruler and I'll connect the 7 inches that we just marked now. Okay, and that's it. So this is our cleave line. Okay, now I like to label for clarity, so I'll go ahead and label that as my cleave line, which I'll use CL. Okay, that's the abbreviation that I want to use. Okay, and that's it. Now the next thing we need to do is to tighten the overbust, okay, or that cleave line. And to do that, I will use a 1 inch. Now I'll divide that 1 inch into two, so that's 0.5 on each side. So I'll go ahead and mark my 0.5, okay, on each side. Then I'll come in with my ruler and I'll connect that to the bust point line like so. Okay, I like to avoid too much curves as much as I can. So that's why I'm using a straight line. So I've connected that, the tightenings. We will still darken these lines later. But for now, let's proceed. Now, the next thing we'll do is to mark our neck depth, okay? Remember our cleave line is 4 inches. Now, I just want to come down a bit from that 4 inches by 0.75, just so we can have a tiny bit of sweetheart neck there. Okay, so I just marked my 0.75, so that's the neckline depth that I want. Now I'll use my curve ruler, just a slight curve, and I'll connect that to the first dart leg like so. Okay, I'll connect using my pencil for now, and that's it. So this is our neckline. Okay, so we'll go ahead with the alteration. Now the next thing we need to mark is our strap to strap measurement. Now what's your strap to strap measurement? Okay, just like the picture you're seeing on your screen, is the distance between one of your bra straps to the other. So you simply place your tape across your chest, okay, and you measure that distance. Now it ranges between 8 inches to 11 inches, okay, but for my client, her strap to strap measurement is 9 inches. Okay, now whatever measurement you get, you divide that into two. So for hers is 9, and 9 inches divided by 2 is 4.5. So I'll go ahead and place my tape. Now I'll place my tape from the center front to the very first dart leg. What I have there is 4 inches. Okay, so from there, I'll make a mark there on that 4 inches, and I'll carry over my tape to the second dart leg. Remember, I placed my tape from the center front line like so. To the first dart leg is 4 inches, and you move your tape to the second dart leg and continue your straps to strap measurement. And remember, it's 4.5. So I just marked my 4.5 mark there, okay? So and that's it. Okay? Now the next thing we need to do is to go ahead and reshape, okay? Now remember what I explained. Measure your strap to strap, okay? And you divide whatever you get by 2, okay? Just wear your normal bra and then you take that measurement so that you're sure you're working with your accurate measurements. Divide that into 2 and you place like I did, okay? And now we will proceed with our markings. Okay, now the next thing we need to mark is her underbust. Her underbust round is 32. 32 divided by 4 is 8 inches. So from the center front, I'll go ahead and mark my 3 inches, okay? Then I'll carry over my tape to the second dart leg and I'll continue that measurement. So I'll mark my 8 inches, okay? Like so. And then I'll go ahead and measure what I have left. Okay, now from the 8 inches I marked to the side on front, what I have there is 0.6 inches. Okay, so I'll go ahead and mark that on the second dart leg. Now we will come in with our curve to connect. Okay, now let's start from the center front. So you place your curve and ensure that it rests on the 0.5 mark that we have, okay? And then you need to let it pass through the bust point line, okay? Like I'm doing now. Avoid too much curves. If not, when you're done, your bust point area is going to look very pointed, and that's not what you want, okay? So you go ahead and mark, and this is it. I've connected that side, okay? Now we need to also connect the other side, okay? So you place your curve as well, making sure that now for this second part, your curve must not pass through the bust point, but ensure that it rests on that 0.5 tightening line that we have there, okay? Then you go ahead and connect your curve as well. Now avoid your too much curves as much as you can, because this goes a long way to affect your final look, okay? And you need it to be as smooth as possible. Now this is what we have. I will still come in with my marker pen later to highlight that part, okay? I like to leave it this way because most times you may still need to reshape the bust point, okay? Now let's go ahead and connect the under bust to the half length, okay, with a straight line. Now for the second side, now you can go ahead and connect like this, but sometimes I don't like that sharp triangle look that it looks like, okay, at the end. So I like to come in by 0.25 from that leg. So I'll go ahead and mark my 0.25 there, and I will connect, okay, to my under bust. Now this will make it look this gives you straight that straight line effect, okay, when you're done making the dress. Again, this is optional. You can go ahead and just connect it straight, okay, and that's it. So I'll go ahead and mark that 0.25. I will note it by the side so that when I'm done, I will remember that I'll need to factor that in, okay? So let me use my marker pen to highlight the lines for us so that it will be very clear. All right, so and here we have it. So we're done. Now the next thing I need to do is to separate the two patterns. So I'll go ahead and use my scissors and cut the two blocks, okay? So we'll keep the back aside for now, and let's focus on the front. Okay. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is to try and close that tightening that we did on the cleave line. Okay, it may be a bit difficult, but it's not impossible. Okay, so I need us to know that before we proceed. So just simply look at what I'm doing. You try and raise the paper up along that line. Okay, so I like to close from the armhole side towards the center front. So you try and lift that paper along that line that we marked. Okay, and remember I said that it's going to be a bit challenging because we're working with a paper, but it's not impossible. Okay, so it's not a rocket science. All right, so just lift your paper like I'm doing gently. Not your paper, lift your pattern paper like I'm doing. Okay, and when you're done, you place it on the other that leg like I'm doing. Okay, and that's it. Is that simple and straightforward. Okay, so now I will come in with my curve. Okay, and I'll try and reshape my neckline. Remember we had come down by 0.75 as our neckline depth. Okay, now you have an opportunity again to reshape your neckline if you want it lower. Okay, so I will go ahead with my curve now, and I'll reshape my neckline, and just so that I can have a perfect curve. Okay, so I will use my pencil and try to make mark another neckline there. Okay. Okay, so with my pencil, now the essence of this is so that the curve can pass through the tightening that we just folded. Okay, now note that you can use any style of neckline that you want. Okay, I want mine to have just a little bit of sweetheart neckline. Remember that we're going to be attaching cape to these at the end, so you should bear that in mind when choosing your neckline style. Okay, and that's it. So I'm done. Now I'll go ahead and clean the initial neckline that we had marked, okay? Just so that we can be clear on the final neckline that we're going to be making use of. So I just cleaned that first one. Then now I'll come in with my curve and I'll remark, okay? Since what we are doing now is our final neckline, okay? So I'll come in with my curve and my pencil, and I'll draw a fresh neckline, okay, that will run through the folded darts. Okay, and that's it. So we're done with the neckline for now. Okay, so we're not done with all of them now. um okay, so I'll come in with my permanent marker. Okay, since this is the neckline that we're going to be working with eventually. Okay, so and that's it. I just highlighted my neckline. Okay, and that's it. Now if you take a look at the first that leg from the center front, you can see that it came up a bit. Now that's the results of the closing that we did. Okay, the essence of this is when you're done cutting your patterns and you place on your fabric, now no part of the pattern is going to be longer. Okay, so so this process is called dart truing. Okay, this is just to ensure that all your dart lines are equal. Now um we need to close our bust dart. Okay, but first you remember our strap to strap measurement. Okay, so I just highlighted that point so that we will note that. So we need to close our bust dart, and to close your bust dart you need to open another dart. Okay, so that's the principle of closing a dart. Before you close a dart, you open another one. So I'll go ahead and slash open my dart line, okay, on the shoulder. So I'll cut it to the bust point line. Okay, I will not exceed the bust point. Okay guys, take note, I just cut to the bust point. Okay, then I'll go ahead and close my bust dart. And remember, just like we closed our tightening, just like we tighten the cleave line, okay, it's the same process. I'll try and lift my dart leg up like so. Okay, so I'll lift it and I'll place it on the bust point line. Okay, it's that simple. try and lift up your pattern paper, okay, just along that marked line, and then you rest it on the bust point line like so. Okay, then I'll come in with my paper tape, and I'll I'll close it for now, because I may still take that off. Okay, so I'll come in with my tape now, and I'll close it, then we'll proceed. Okay, so here's my paper tape. All right, so I just closed it. Now, if you take a look, you can see that it's shortened by the side, okay? So it's simple. Just come in with your curve or your straight line, and then you blend from that bust point line to the chest line like I'm doing, okay? So is that easy? And then that's it. You can see that side is now equal, okay? So if you like, you can use a straight line or a curve. It's the same result. Okay, so let's proceed with our markings. Now it's time for us to shape our armhole. Okay, and to do that, you simply measure. You place your tape from the shoulder tip to the chest line. Okay, you place your tape from the shoulder tip to the chest line. Okay, now for clarity purpose, I'm going to take off the tape on the bust point, okay, on the bust that. So I'll take that off so that we will return our pattern back to the original state before we continue with the plotting of the armhole. Okay, but if you think you can continue, it's fine, but I will go ahead and take off my tape. Okay, now the measurement I got there when I placed my tape from the shoulder tip to the chest line is 7.5. Now you go ahead and divide that into 2, and that will give you 3.75. Okay, so remember, I placed my tape from the shoulder tip to the chest line, and I got 7.5. You divide that into 2, that will give you 3.75. Now I'll place my tape on the cleave line, and I'll mark that 3.75. Remember, I'm placing my tape on the cleave line, and I'll mark my measurement of 3.75 downwards like so. Okay, then I will come in with a straight line to connect these measurements. Okay, so I will extend it towards the bust point. Okay, and that's it. Now this line, it needs to run to the back, okay, because we also need to make use of it when we get to the back. So for clarity, I will just bring my back pattern like I've just done, okay, and I'll use my straight line and just extend this line, the 3.75. So I'll extend it to the back. Okay, all right, and that's it. So I'll go ahead and still keep our back bodice for now. Okay, so let's come back to the front. So now that we have extended our lines, I'll still go ahead and use my pencil to connect to the strap to strap measurements that we have on the cleave line. Okay, then I'll come in um with my marker pen, and I'll just highlight the lines so that it will be very clear for all of us to see. Okay, and that's it. Now we're done. Okay, so I'll go ahead and close back my bust dart, and I'll use my tape to close it. Okay, and that's it. I've closed my bust dart now. Okay, now the next thing we need to do is to curve our armhole. Okay, now in doing this, you don't want your armhole to be very deep. If not, it's going to be exposing your bust. Okay, and you don't want that. Now you need to place your curve, but don't make it deep. Okay, just a bit, but not deep. If not, your armhole is going to be showing. And you remember that we're not going to be fixing a sleeve to this. Okay, so you need to be mindful of that fact. So with my curve, I will just connect it to the 4.5 mark that we have on the chest line. Okay, and I'll come in with my marker pen as well and highlight that. And that's it. This is our armhole. Okay, it's as simple as that. Now the next thing that I need to mark is my strap to is my strap. Okay, now for my strap, I want that to be 1 inch. I don't want a very wide strap, but you can choose the strap that you want. I just want mine to be 1 inch. Okay, so from my 4.5 strap to strap measurements on the Cleave line, I'll just connect to my shoulder. Okay, and that's it. Now we'll go ahead and okay, so I'm trying to just measure my strap to be sure that it's 1 inch, and that's it. So um we're done. Our pattern is set and ready for cutting. So um I'll go ahead and label. I like to label. If you don't, the moment you cut, you become confused. Okay, so I'll come in now with my scissors and we will cut. Just pay attention on the lines that I'm cutting. Okay, so this is it. We've cut out the center front line. Okay, so I'll go ahead and label, or I'll do that later. Okay, so we'll proceed with our cutting. Now you remember our 0.25 that I used to tighten the waist that. Okay, now we need to add it back to the side so that our pattern is not shorting anything. Okay, so I just marked that 0.25 and I'll come in with my straight line from the chest line. I'll just connect to that 0.25 mark that I have there, and that's it. My pattern is complete. Okay, this is very important. Anything you subtract from your pattern, you always add it back. Ensure you add it back. If not, these are the tiny things that actually affect your final fitting. Okay, so you pay attention and you make that correction when you're doing yours. Okay, and that's it. So we've cut out our side pattern. Okay, so now I'll proceed to cut out my strap. Okay, and that's it. So our front pattern set is ready. Okay, so when your pattern is complete, it's called a pattern set. Okay, so my front pattern set is ready. Okay, so when it's time to join, that's how I'm going to be joining my patterns. Okay, so and that's it. Now you can also increase your strap, like I had earlier said, if you want a wider strap. Okay, but I just want my strap to be 1 inch. Now let's proceed to the back. Okay, so you remember this line, our Cleave line, okay, that we extended to the back. I'll go ahead and label that as well as my CL. That's my Cleave line. Okay, now let's proceed. Okay, so we need to tighten that Cleave line on the back. So from the mid shoulder line, we will come in by 0.5. Okay, so we are marking it towards the center front. Okay, so you go ahead and mark your 0.5, and we need to connect that to the 1 inch that we came down on the chest line. Okay, just like I'm doing. So I'm connecting 0.5 to my waist dart. Okay, and that's it. Now I'll go ahead and try to fold. Okay, not fold, I'll try to close that dart as well. Same way, try and raise it up, and then you place it on the other dart leg. Okay, and that's it. I have closed it. Okay, so now we need to measure our strap to strap. Remember, our strap to strap is 9 inches, and 9 inches divided by 2, that's 4.5. So you place your tape on the back tightening and not on the center back. Just pay attention to where I'm placing my tape. So on the back tightening, and you measure your 4.5 inches, which is your strap to strap measurement divided by 2. Okay, so I will come in with my pencil and I'll make a mark on that 4.5 inches. Okay, now you remember that we had earlier extended our mid shoulder line, okay, from the front. So the next thing I'll do is to go ahead and connect that. Okay. Okay, so for clarity, I decided to use my tape, my paper tape, to close that dart, okay, which we will still open later. Okay, so let's permanently take it, close it for now. Okay, so we can go ahead now and connect our armhole for the back. Okay, so from the 4.5, I will connect it to the 3.75 mark that we had earlier done. Okay, when we were trying to plot our armhole for the front. Okay, you remember this line? So I will go ahead and use my pencil to connect it to that line. Okay, now I'll also extend it to the side back. Okay, and that's it. Now I'll go ahead and take off my tape so that the pattern can lay flat when we start cutting. Okay, now I'll come in with my curve to plot my back armhole, and just like I told us in the front, the armhole is not supposed to be deep, okay, so that it doesn't expose your bust. So I'll go ahead and plot my armhole for the back like so, and that's it. My back armhole is ready. Now the next thing I need to do is to also go ahead and mark my strap. Okay, you remember for the front, I made the strap 1 inch wide. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and mark that as well, and that's it. The strap for the back is ready. So we'll go ahead now and cut. Okay, so before we cut, if you want your chest line, if you want to shapen the back chest line, you can go ahead and do that. Okay, you remember our chest line. Okay, so you can simply use your curve to connect from your cleave line to your chest if you want a curve at the back. But we're going to be attaching a cape to this dress, so I decided to leave it straight. Okay, so I'll go ahead and cut out my pattern now and take off the darts. Okay, and that's it. Now I also proceed to cut the strap for the back. Okay, so the back pattern set is ready. Okay, so I like to label, so I'll do that with an arrow so that I'll know the chest line and the center back. Now labeling your pattern is very, very important. I mean, it cannot be overemphasized. The importance is very crucial because you don't want to mix up your patterns. Okay, so I'll still go ahead and label my strap so that I will know which one is for the front and which one is for the back. Okay, and that's it. So our pattern set is ready. Now I'll go ahead and transfer this to fabric, and um we'll proceed to the sewing. All right, guys, so I'll see you in my next video. Bye.